Hi, welcome to the Pigskin postgame wrap for the postseason. I'm Joe Cortez, joined by Ron Agostini, and on the phone we've got Brian VanderBeek, who was up in Sacramento for the Downey High versus Grant Division 2.
He has shrunk. He's in that thing right there, that contraption.
It's like a sci-fi movie.
That's right.
I don't have an artist rendering?
No, this will have to suffice, Brian. You're in that thing.
So, Brian, wasn't very close tonight. Tell us what happened up there at Grant High.
Well, Downey was determined to take away Grant's running game, and so it packed the box with 8 and 9 players. And Grant took a look at them and said, okay, let's throw the ball. And they did. The quarterback, Donovan Brown, 10 of 15 for 251 and 4 scores. And they ran the ball, too. 37 carries, 309 yards total for the team. 560 yards total offense for Grant, 282 for Downey. Minus 36 yards second half on the ground for Downey. Minus 13 for the game. They couldn't run the ball at all. I mean, the Grant lines are just enormous.
They're huge, yeah.
They're just huge. Having said that, and I wrote about it in the story, Jeremy Pla, coming into the postseason, looked at the bracket and said, oh, no, Grant again in the second round if they get past Danilo, which they did. And he says now that, well, that's not the attitude we have to take. He says we have to take the attitude right now that we want to play Grant next year because Grant or a Grant-type team is the kind of team we're going to have to beat to win a section championship. So they've got a long way to go, but 63-21, this is not real competitive tonight. But he says, you know, the JV and freshman people went 10-0 this year at Downey, and they've got some got some horses coming up. Speaking of horses, Deshaun Collins, they really keyed on him tonight. 14 carries, 86 yards. That's Grant's 2,000-yard rusher. The damage tonight done by Mike Green, the second halfback. 12 carries, 110. Like I said, they ran for 309.
I believe that's Collins' lowest output of the year.
Yeah, I mean, 9 carries, 71 on the first half. They just had other weapons. You know?
Yeah, well, but I mean, that's a guy that was averaging 12 yards a pop, and he ran for 275 last week and 273 the week before against Jesuits. So, you know, that's
9 games of 100 yards or more this year. So this has got to be pretty close to his lowest. One interesting thing at the end of the game, for some reason, Grant in the last minute decides to throw a pass.
Sweet.
And well, it wasn't complete, but to fittingly put a cap on the Downey season, the pass was intercepted by Jacob Magana.
Oh, that's great. What a season he had.
14th pick of the year.
Oh, amazing.
For Magana. And one thing for Grant, you know, everybody's looking forward to a Grant Fulton possible, you know, NorCal game.
Sure.
The difference between Grant and Folsom, it showed up against Patterson last week. It showed up again tonight. Discipline. Grant was penalized 16 times for 169 yards.
Wow. My goodness.
Now that wasn't not, you know, a lot of those were personal fouls, but they weren't taunting. They were fouls of aggression, but nonetheless, discipline could be a major factor. Grant could be the difference if Grant tries to itself get into the upper elite level.
Yeah.
One note for Andrew Rasco, caught 2 touchdown passes for Downey tonight. P.J. Wilson was 23 of 41 for 295 and 2 scores. They
not bad,
all over the place.
Brian, how was Downey's spirits after tonight's game?
Terrific, very, very good.
Yeah.
They knew what they were up against.
Yeah.
There really wasn't a lot of head hanging. It's a program that kind of knows that it has a long way to go, even though it's far and away that the king of Modesto Metro Conference. It realizes what it has to do to step up to the rest of Division 2.
Yeah, that's the ceiling right now, the second round. Now, who's going to break through that ceiling in the MMC?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is a very good Downey team, but you know, like Jeremy said, with both those lower levels going 20-0, maybe there's some magic here coming up in this.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
You know. So that's it for Division Two. We lose our lone Division Two participant in Downey. Merced High loses to Monterey Trail tonight. Bummer.
Ouch, Joe.
I
Sorry,
know,
Joe.
man.
Sorry.
But the Bears are out. That's our Division One entrant. And in Division Three, we have three teams, or had three teams. Two of them were knocked out tonight. You were over at Oakdale at the Corral.
That's right, Joe. I was at the Corral for a second round game between Vista del Lago of Folsom and Oakdale. Nice crowd at the Corral tonight. Oakdale, big win, 42-14. Typical Oakdale night, 439 yards on the ground.
Three-card Monty.
Three-card Monty, pick one. You know, you want to stop Frankie Trent up the middle, fine.
Go for it.
They come at you with Darius Nelson and Brock Whiting on the outside, gashing you on the edges, and they just rushed the ball and pulled away in the second half from Vista del Lago. That's the third win over Oakdale in the playoffs over Vista del Lago in the last 4 years. In those 3 games, Joe, Oakdale's defense has allowed 17 total points against Vista del Lago. That's dominating, and Coach Trenton Merzon said that was their best defensive effort in 3 years.
Wow.
They did a nice job against a very good Vista del Lago quarterback, Matt Jimison, 6'2", 200-pound kid with a really nice arm. He came into the game without his best receiver tonight, a player who was ejected from last week's win. So he was a little understaffed. That affected Vista del Lago. Didn't cost him the game.
Not enough.
Not enough, though. Too much Oakdale tonight. Adam Olson, the junior quarterback for Oakdale, attempted one pass, and that came with 8 minutes to go in the game, and it went for a touchdown. So that's how dominating Oakdale was. Olson also made a great play at the end of the half. He rolled out. He wanted to throw. Oakdale only even called 5 pass plays tonight. They roll him out. He finds a crease to the outside and goes 52 yards for a touchdown. Very late in the half. That puts Oakdale ahead 21-7. Goal line stand by Oakdale during the third quarter, and the Mustangs sprint away from there. The news got even better for Oakdale after the game was over. Sierra, the 2 seed, the only team to beat Oakdale this year, was upset by Rio Linda. 49-44.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to the Mustangs. Now they get a semifinal date at home next Friday night against Rio Linda.
Against a 10 seed?
A 10 seed at Rio Linda. Couldn't have worked out much better for the Mustangs tonight, Jeff.
And then Manteca also was bounced tonight. They lost to Sacramento High.
Yes, so
the team they beat last year for the Division III title.
Yes, how about that? So 2 of the 3 VOL teams go down tonight. The only survivor, Oakdale, and they're in the
We only got 5 total.
Well, and Central. Central's a VOL team
And-
playing
I'm
down
sorry,
level.
and-
But we'll get to that.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
in a different division, but a VOL school.
I'm a little surprised by that Sonora outcome. They beat them pretty badly last year. It's a kind of a big turnaround. I thought Manteca was going to pull that one out.
No, but that's just couldn't worked out better for the Mustangs. They have a home game the day after Thanksgiving.
Moving on to Division 4, I was over at David Patton Field tonight for Escalon versus Central Catholic. Division 4, of course, was an all Stanislaus District Final Four. We had Escalon Central in one game, Los Banos Sonora in the other. Sonora beats Los Banos, they advance. And Central beats Escalon 35-21. This was close for a long time. Central took a 7-0 lead. Escalon ties it. Jared Rice, the sophomore Jared Rice. This is confusing. Central Catholic has 2 Jared Rices on the roster, spelled the exact same way. One's a sophomore, one's a senior. The older Jared Rice has a brother, Justin. He's the fantastic two-way star for the Raiders. And so it gets a little tricky. The younger Jared Rice, the sophomore, he returned to kickoff 84 yards. Central leads 14-7 at halftime. Escalon ties it up 14-14 on the first possession of the second half. And Justin Rice scores to put Central Catholic up 21-14, and then he has a big interception to kind of help the Raiders break serve, they go up by 2 touchdowns, and they're able to ice it out from there.
Good effort by Escalon.
Oh,
today.
but this was a lot closer than the 35-14 final would
sounds
indicate. You know, and Mark Lorero was, I was a little fly on the wall. I kind of creeped up and got into their post-game huddle a little bit there, and I was listening to what he had to say. And he thanked his seniors, and then he told the juniors. He's already working on next year's team. He said, hey, you juniors, this is your team now. It's time for you to step up and be leaders. And they've got a lot coming back. They've got 8 guys, 8 underclassmen on the offensive side, 7 on the defensive side. So there's a lot to be excited about in Escalon.
He's already transitioning to next year.
He's already working it, you know. And he said to me after the game, he thought that Escalon could out-scheme Central Catholic, but in the end, Central out-athleted us, to invent a phrase.
We know what he means.
Yeah, and that was true. They just kind of wore him down a little bit, but it was a really game effort. So Central advances to take on Sonora. Hey, half of Roger Canepa's family coaches or plays for Sonora High. He's got 2 nephews. He's got a brother who coaches over there. He's got another nephew that coaches there. He hired Brian Craig, the Sonora coach, back when Roger was coaching at Sonora, and he coached there for 12 years. He hired Brian Craig as part of his staff. Now Brian Craig is the head coach. And Roger told me he doesn't even think his own mother will be rooting for him this week, because there's more family, more grandkids on the other side. And
now that game will be played at Lincoln next week?
That'll be played Friday night at Lincoln High School, 7 p.m. So for the 3rd straight year, Central Catholic is in the D4 final. Of course, they won it the last 2 years, as well as state championships.
That was now Sonora defeated Las Banas. Was it 28-14? I think was
the final was, I think, 28-14. Is that right?
That's the first time Sonora's even been remotely close in an opponent getting that close to Sonora since like September. They've been dominating everyone.
Central Catholic, of course, holds the section record for most section titles, 17. Sonora has won 1 section title in its history. You know who the coach was?
Who was it?
Roger Canepa.
Roger
Canepa. So that's going to be fun next week.
Bobby?
Pardon, Beek?
Was that with Bobby Sandro? Was he a co-coach back then?
I'm not sure. It may have been, but I do know that Bill Hilla, the Central Catholic AD and the defensive coordinator for Roger right now, was a player on that Sonora team. So
Boy, these
it all
teams
kind of dovetails.
Networked among each other there.
It all dovetails. It all dovetails.
You're saying even the AD is going to be rooting for Sonora next year.
I did not say that.
You did
sir.
not say that.
Hey, Beek, do you have any scores in front of you? Do you know what else
I
happened?
do. I've got him up on the phone here.
Very good.
I'm surprised. Obviously surprised at the VOL outcomes, but
We're 2 and 2.
overall surprised that we only got 5 teams through. I mean, I was projecting 9, you were projecting 10, and Black Friday came a week too late.
Yeah, it was Black Friday indeed.
Yeah.
Bear River defeated Houston 37-14 in one of the Division 5 semis. In the other, Colfax defeats Mariposa.
Sounds like a good
so
game.
both of our locals are out there. In D6, however, Modesto Christian, the little team that could, defeats Bradshaw Christian 42-14 and sets up a rematch with Capital Christian next week at the Great Bowl in Lodi.
Yeah. That'll be 6 o'clock Saturday night, a week from tomorrow.
Is that a Saturday start?
Saturday night, 6 o'clock. That's Modesto Christian's only loss. Had Christian all over River Christian, 56-13 tonight. Wow.
Yeah, that wasn't
Not close.
Not
Modesto
close.
Christian didn't score 60 though.
That's right. You did you predict that?
Yeah.
Well.
Oh well.
But that I think that Modesto Christian, Cap Christian is going to be a real, that was 23-22 in week 1 of the season.
Wow.
Cap Christian has remained undefeated. It's 12-0. Modesto Christian is 11-1. That's the only loss.
Rematch.
And
big rematch.
And it was close. They fumbled. They had a goal line stand, fumbled on the 1 to give the ball back to Cap Christian. Cap Christian scored and went for a 2-point conversion and got the win. So
the section, when they come up and decide who plays in these NorCal games, they give a lot of credence to one-loss teams who have avenged their only loss.
Uh-huh.
So Modesto Christian gets past Cap Christian next week, and Central Catholic gets by. We still don't know what's going to happen with the McClymans in their appeal of their ineligible player.
Right.
I still think we're looking at a Modesto Christian, Central Catholic, NorCal play-in game.
That would be
Oh,
something.
wow.
That would be
Amazing.
something. Well, Beek, did you make it home?
I am home.
You are home.
Score. Stone Ridge. What did we predict? 45-0 in that game?
Stone Ridge Christian, I'm sorry, Division 7, Stone Ridge Christian and Merced. You know, they had already beaten Delta 49-0 this year. They kind of put it in cruise control and beat them 42-0 this week. They will play Elliott Christian for the D7 final.
What did I predict in that game?
I don't remember.
Oh, it's in Stanislaus Football Weekly. 42-0, I think.
You called it?
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's put bonus
On top
points.
of it, extra credit
Beek.
points for Beek.
Yep.
Well, Beek, thanks for calling in.
Hey, no problem.
Guys,
No problem.
that's, you know what? I do want to point out one thing. The volleyball finals up at UC Davis tonight.
Tonight, on a Friday night.
On a Friday night, and they went late. The 8 o'clock games didn't get started until about 9:15.
Unbelievable.
They didn't finish until after 11. Congratulations to Sonora High School. It beats Hillmar for the second year in a row to claim its second consecutive D4 championship. Although last year they played 5 games in a classic. This one went 3. It was a sweep. But Pittman outlasts Pleasant Grove in 5 games.
And that game ended at about 11:30.
Yes.
Hey, that's the first blue banner on the walls at Pittman High.
That is right. That is the first
History.
blue banner. They had a South subsection baseball title a few years back, but
Right.
this is the first blue banner. So congratulations to Pittman and Sonora on a pair of section championships. Both will advance to the Northern California tournament.
And as long as you're talking about other sports, how about Cal State Stanislaus 2-0 over Pomona? That is
That's right.
NCAA Division II West Regional Champion Warriors.
That means they're a win away from the Final Four. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, well, congratulations to them. So a lot going on tonight. Thanks for joining us. That does it for this postseason edition of the Pigskin Postgame Wrap. For the man in the box, Brian VanderBeek, Ron Agostini, the man at my left, I'm Joe Cortez. We'll see you here next week.